USS Parrott was a Clemson-class destroyer in the United States Navy during World War II and was the second ship named for George Fountain Parrott. Parrott was laid down the 23rd of July 1919 by and launched the 25th of November from William Cramp and Amp Sons Shipbuilding and Amp Engine Company, sponsored by Miss Julia B. Parrott, and commissioned the 11th of May 1920. Lieutenant Commander West C. Wickham in command. Service history. Following shakedown, Parrott was assigned to Destroyer Division 38 of the Pacific Fleet, of which she was later designated flagship. She departed Boston, Massachusetts, the 7th of August 1920 for San Diego, California, arriving the 7th of September. She operated in coastal waters, ranging as far south as Valparaiso, Chile, until reassigned to the Atlantic Fleet the 3rd of December 1921 and ordered to Philadelphia. Parrott escorted Mayflower from Hampton Roads and Annapolis, Maryland, to Washington, D.C. the 26th of May 1922 to 30 May 1922, and then was fitted out for European duty. On the 12th of June, Parrott sailed from Newport, Rhode Island with her division to report to Commander U.S. Naval Detachment Turkish waters at Constantinople to assist American relief agencies in aiding political refugees and protecting American lives and interests. From time to time, Parrott served as communications and station ship in the Black Sea, Aegean and Eastern Mediterranean. For the 13th of September to the 25th of October, she evacuated refugees following the Smyrna fire, and escorted ships sent by other nations to help persons who had asked for protection. For the 6th of July to the 24th of August 1923, Parrott made visits to Greece, Turkey, Romania, Bulgaria and Russia, meeting with civic officials and showing the flag. During the following year she made similar visits to Bizerte, Tunis, Livorno, Genoa, Patmos, Villefranche-sur-Mer, Cagliari and Sardinia. Returning to New York in July, reassigned to the Asiatic Fleet, Parrott departed Philadelphia the 3rd of January 1925 for Pearl Harbor via the Panama Canal Zone and San Diego. She made a training stop at Pearl Harbor on the 27th of April and proceeded on the 29th of May, via Midway, to join the fleet at Chefoo, China the 14th of June. Because of unsettled conditions in China, Parrott with other units sailed to Shanghai and put ashore a landing force. Parrott remained in the area until the 31st of July, and returned the 10th of September to Shanghai for duty with the Yangtze River Patrol until the 16th of October, when she departed for the Philippines. After operations out of Manila from the 19th of October to the 15th of March 1926, she reported to the Commander South China Patrol at Swatow, remaining until the 14th of June. At this time, revolution in China caused intense naval activity, resulting in practically the entire Asiatic Fleet assembling in Chinese waters. Parrott carried out a rigorous schedule in again aiding and protecting the interest of Americans and other neutrals. She was relieved the 25th of October 1927 and sailed south via Hong Kong, Bangkok and Saigon to Manila, arriving the 18th of November. During 1928, Parrott made many calls to Philippine ports least frequented by American ships. From 1928 into 1934, she remained on Asiatic Patrol operating from Manila. In 1935, she was ordered to French Indochina to collect hydrographic data in and around Saigon. She resumed neutrality patrol in 1936, and by 1940 had served successively as station ship at Amoy and Swatow, China. From the 7th of July to the 4th of October, Parrott patrolled China waters based at Tsingtao and then made calls to other northern Chinese ports. Returning to Manila the 11th of October, World War II. In Kuwait Navy Yard, Parrott spent the first 2 months of 1941 having anti-mine and sound detection gear installed, after which, she trained with destroyers and submarines. She assumed duties as offshore sound patrol picket at the entrance to Manila Bay on 6 October, and late in November joined Task Force 5 at Tarakan, Borneo, Netherlands, East Indies. The task force was still operating in this area when hostilities began. When the Philippines fell to the Japanese, the Asiatic Fleet moved south and operated under a unified American-British-Dutch-Australian command from a base at Surabaya, Java. On 9 January 1942, Parrott was one of 5 destroyers in an escort composed of the cruisers US Boise and US Marblehead, with the other destroyers US Stuart, US Bulmer, US Poe, and US Barker departing from Darwin to Surabaya escorting the transport Bloemfontein. The transport had been part of the Pensacola convoy and had left Brisbane 30 December 1941 with Army reinforcements composed of the 26th Field Artillery Brigade and Headquarters Battery, the 1st Battalion, 131st Field Artillery and supplies from that convoy destined for Java. After dark on 23 January 1942, Parrott with John D. Ford, Pope and Paul Jones entered Balikpapan Bay where, lying at anchor, were 16 Japanese transports and 3 750-ton torpedo boats. Guarded by a Japanese destroyer squadron, the Allied ships fired several patterns of torpedoes and saw 4 enemy transports and 1 torpedo boat sink as the Japanese destroyers searched in the strait for non-existent submarines. Parrott returned to Surabaya 25 January, and sailed 5 days later as part of the escort for 2 Dutch ships as far as Lombok Strait. She then swept through the South China Sea with the combined ABDA force, fighting off 3 Japanese aerial attacks on 15 February, as the Allies attempted to intercept and prevent a landing on the east coast of Sumatra. She came into Surabaya for fuel 19 February, firing upon enemy planes whilst there, before departing with other destroyers for a night attack on Japanese forces off Bali. Contact was made with 2 Japanese destroyers on a transport just past midnight on 19-20 February, and in the ensuing fight, Pitine was sunk and Michishio heavily damaged. Parrott struck ground in the shoals off Bali but was able to churn herself free and retire with the rest of the force to Surabaya. Parrott was delegated the task of escorting Sea-Watch carrying 27 crated P-40s into Tijilajap 28 February and then proceed to Fremantle as her consorts of the ABDA force made an attempt to forestall the invasion of Java by Japanese forces in the unsuccessful Battle of the Java Sea. Parrott returned to the States for repairs, left the yard in July and commenced the first of 8 convoy escort voyages between San Francisco and Pearl Harbor. On 21 May 1943, she sailed for New York, arriving 12 June and reported for transatlantic convoy duty. She completed 1 convoy passage before joining Paul Jones and Belknap in an offensive anti-submarine group with Croatan. She operated with this group until 15 October when she transferred to another anti-submarine group formed around Block Island. Parrott participated in sinking U-220 on 28 October, but the credit went to Block Island planes. In March 1944, Parrott reported at Norfolk for convoy assignment. As escort for convoy USS-35, she reached Casablanca 26 March, then bombarded the coast of Spanish Morocco, south of Cape Spartel, on 27 March before escorting convoy Gus-34 back to Boston, arriving the 15th of April. Fate. While getting underway for Norfolk on the 2nd of May, Parrott was rammed by John Morton while backing out of a slip, bending her hull, and was severely damaged. She had to be beached by tugs. Later towed to Norfolk Naval Shipyard, she decommissioned the 14th of June 1944. She was struck from the Navy list the 18th of July 1944, and her hulk was sold for scrapping the 5th of April 1947 to the Marine Salvage Company of Richmond, Virginia. Awards. Parrott earned 2 battle stars for her service in World War II.